please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Therese, roll call, please.
Commissioner Coring?
Here.
Commissioner Lebke?
Here.
Commissioner Barrows?
Here.
Commissioner Franzine? Here. Commissioner Lee?
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. Our first item of business is the oath of office for the two newly elected county commissioners. Commissioner Coring and Commissioner Lee, if you would come down in front of the dais, please. Our Administrative Services Director, Jory Danielson, will administer the oath of office.
Where do you want his mic?
Jory, can you use the mic at the podium?
If you'll please raise your right hand. I, and state your first and last name, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully execute
and I will faithfully execute
and discharge the duties
and discharge the duties
of the office of Crow Wing County Commissioner
of the office of Crow Wing County Commissioner
in the County of Crow Wing, Minnesota,
in the County of Crow Wing, Minnesota,
according to the law
according to the law
and the best of my ability and understanding,
and the best of my ability and understanding,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
After the meeting, we'll have some opportunity for pictures if anyone wants to do some pictures as well at that point. Commissioners, this is the organizational meeting, so the first order of business is to elect the board chair and vice chair for the year. As such, I will open the floor to nominations for board chair for 2025.
I would nominate Commissioner Steve Barrows as the chair of the county board for the term of 2025.
And I will second that.
Commissioner Coring nominates Commissioner Barrows, seconded by Commissioner Lebke. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Third and final time, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations will close, and I would accept a motion to cast a unanimous ballot for Commissioner Barrows for County Board Chair for 2025.
So move a unanimous ballot for Commissioner Steve Barrows to be the county board chair for the term of 2025.
I have a motion by Commissioner Coring. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Seconded by
Lupke.
Commissioner Lebke. Is there any discussion? Therese, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Coring?
Aye.
Commissioner Lebke?
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows?
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine? Aye. Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Motion passes. I will now open the floor to nominations for vice chair for 2025.
Madam Administrator, I would make a motion to nominate Commissioner Franzine.
I have a motion for Commissioner Franzine for vice chair. Is there a second?
I will second that motion, Commissioner Lupke.
Commissioner Lebke seconds the motion. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Third and final time, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations will close, and I would accept a motion to cast a unanimous ballot for Commissioner Franzine for vice chair for 2025. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Commissioner Barrows. Is there a second?
I will second that motion, Commissioner Lupke.
Seconded by Commissioner Lebke. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Coring?
Aye.
Commissioner Lebke?
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows?
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine? Aye. Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Motion passes. Congratulations to the new chair and vice chair. Let's take
Thank
just
you.
a moment and swap Chairs and nameplates, please.
Make sure you get them just right. Okay.
And Mr. Chair, I would turn it over to you for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. We appreciate you being here this morning. Our next business is open forum. I don't have any forms in front of me. I'm assuming no one is signed up to speak in open forum, so we'll move on to review and approve the agenda. Any additions,
No additions or changes.
changes?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the agenda as presented in our packet.
Second.
Motion by, already.
That's all right. Commissioner Coring.
Yep. Commissioner Coring and Commissioner Franzine seconds that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, all those not in favor, same sign, or motion passes. Thank you. Consent agenda,
Motion to approve.
motion by
Second.
Commissioner Franzine, second by Commissioner Coring. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, signify by saying no. That motion passes. County engineer.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners.
Morning.
So I am here before you today for seeking a resolution to sponsor Pequot Lake School District for their Transportation Alternatives Grant. Also, if there's any questions towards the end, Kurt Stump, the superintendent, is also here in the room if you have questions about the project specifically. But this is all a result of a Safe Routes to School plan that was done a year and a half, 2 years ago, and they're implementing that project to do some improvements around the Pequot Lake School. Could you pop up the graphic, please? So here's a look at, and so none of this is along a county road, but since Pequot Lakes is not a state aid city, it requires a sponsorship, and that would be from the county. Last year, we'd sponsored Breezy Point's TA application. That was along CASA 11. But this one, you can see along Patriot Avenue, there's some sidewalk improvements, some rapid flashing beacons for safer crosswalks, some sidewalks to get students connected to the Paul Bunyan Trail, and then also to the north, some pavement markings and lighting upgrades where in that Safe Routes to School plan, they noticed some patterns of where students were walking along roads where it was dangerous. But then a little bit about the Transportation Alternatives Grant. It seeks projects for this specifically, ped and bike, safe routes to school, some historic preservation, and some environmental things as such. But there is a local match that will be covered by the City of Pequot Lakes. Our role as fiscal agent is to make sure that these projects are completed, and that we're also the fiscal agent as well. So the money passes through the county. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
I have none.
I would look for a motion to approve the attached resolution.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine.
Seconded by Commissioner Lupke.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those not in favor say no. That motion passes. Thank you very much, Matt. All right, Tim, you're next.
Thank you. Good morning. Today I'm here as a follow-on presentation to the information that I provided last Tuesday at the board meeting, and it has to do with the application for some federal money, up to $25 million to make improvements to the 371 corridor. And over the last 18 months or so, we've been working with MnDOT and our partners at Baxter and Nisswa to put together a corridor safety plan from Baxter to Nisswa. and it came up with near-term, mid-term, and long-term solutions or potential solutions for the corridor. And we're continuing on with that effort, and it will wrap up in the next 6 months or so. But the near-term alternatives are ready to move into the implementation phase. And recently, MnDOT reached out to me and asked that I present to you the option to be the lead applicant for up to that $25 million for a RAISE grant. That's a federal grant. That's the Rebuilding America Infrastructure and Sustainability and Equity Grant. And it's just a really good opportunity to fund these improvements that have been needed for many, many years. I think at the last meeting I talked about when I left MnDOT 15 years ago, this was my last project. And since that time, there's been very little progress in getting those safety improvements that will reduce the serious and fatal crashes that continue to happen on the state highway system. At the last meeting, I talked about how this is firmly in alignment with the comprehensive plan that was just completed. And I asked for your support to apply for this. What's different from the last presentation is I've included the actual resolution for action, and it's very detailed, as you've come to expect from me. But I wanted it to be very clear, and I wanted you to understand the risks and exposure, the potential exposure to Crow Wing County. I did confirm over the last week that the grant application will be for 100% of the cost of the project, which is a little bit atypical. Normally, federal grants are either 80-20 or 90-10 because of classification in the area that was identified in the 2020 census. Allows us to apply for 100% of the federal funding, and that's really good. That doesn't happen very often. And I've also mentioned that even if there is a cost share somehow, that the vast majority of the cost share would be the responsibility of MnDOT, because these near-term improvements are almost completely contained within the MnDOT right-of-way. And so there are representatives from MnDOT. Jim Hallgren from MnDOT, he's the assistant district engineer is here. Tom Cruikshank, who's a planner, you've all met him at some meetings, he's from MnDOT. Tom Blomer from the city of Nisswa is here. I believe Jenny Max had planned to be here online. She's the city administrator of Nisswa. And then Brad Shapoulis, who's the city administrator from Baxter. I believe one or more of you asked for those representatives to be here to answer some questions or just to lend their support to this partnership and this application. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think, excuse me, go ahead, Commissioner Coyne.
Mr. Chair, yes, I just wanted to make sure, and if you remember what I talked about at the last meeting, if there is some cost share, for example, to the city of Nisswa or the city of Baxter, and then let's say it's even $20,000 or $30,000, that's a lot of money to those cities. And I just wanted to make sure, and I'm sure you've done your homework because you always do, I just want to make sure that they're okay with this also, and I'm assuming they are. And if you want to, whoever the representatives are, if you want to come up and speak, you can. If you don't want to, but that's all. I'm just concerned that we're not taking an action. It's kind of like, and with all due respect to Ben Davis, the state does a lot of things that has a huge effect on the counties. And I don't want us to make decisions here that have an effect on cities that cost them a lot of money. So I don't know if anybody wants to speak, but I'm guessing that you guys are in favor of this, Nisswa and Baxter.
Hi, I'm Tom Blomer. I'm the Public Works Director for the City of Nisswa. And I'll just keep this brief because Jenny would prefer to have been here to speak, but we are in favor of this.
Okay.
And we do have funds if there were a need.
Sure. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Thank you.
Good Administrator Chapelas, welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. To answer your question, Mr. Coring, yes, the City of Baxter is aware. We have many intersections with MnDOT that require cost share, and we would anticipate that in the event that 100% was not provided for through the grant, that the cost share agreements that are in place would be enacted and anticipated. I do want to note that based on the timing of this request, the City Council will not be considering a resolution of support until their meeting on the 21st. But that being said, the City Council has been kept to speed throughout the whole study process, and the improvements that are being proposed within the City of Baxter have been reviewed and have just general consent of approval from the council. So,
Mr. Chair, before you move, Mr. Administrator, this is kind of similar to this, but just something that I've been wanting to reach out, and as long as you're here. The intersection where, and I don't, is it the one by Mills Ford? And when you turn to go to Menards?
Wada.
Wida? I don't know, I don't understand, like, on the other side of the road, over where Deerwood Bank is, there's a stop sign when you come up. And then when you go down by Target, by that hotel, there's a stop sign there. But yet, at that intersection where you turn, if you're coming out of Menards, it is a disaster trying to either get in there or to come out of there. Wouldn't it make sense to have a stop sign also there?
that intersection is part of the 371 safety study that is being looked at from a short-term, long-term perspective. It's a little bit more difficult than the intersections that you referenced.
Yeah.
But it is something that is part of the scope of the study that's still yet to be completed.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be part of the midterm or long-term solutions. What you have before you today for the federal grant does not include Wada Road. It is on our radar screen
That is
very
a challenging
firmly.
intersection.
Very firmly. And we're working through some of those alternatives, and we continue to look at that one.
Summertime, I think, Mr. Chair, I'm going to bring a stop sign, and I'm going to be directing traffic there possibly, because it's difficult. Thank you, appreciate it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Commissioner.
what year is the projected start date for this?
So this grant would be for $28-29, I believe. Because we're also asking for engineering, continued planning, and then right-of-way acquisition if needed, we'll have access to the money, but the construction of these major improvements, or this string of improvements throughout the whole corridor, are expected to be beginning in 2028, possibly no later than 2029. As you all know, we are being very fortunate to receive a lot of funding support to make the improvements to the regional transportation system. Brainerd will be doing Washington Street beginning next year, I believe, and then the interchange at 210 and 371 is scheduled for, I believe, 27 and 28, and then this will be follow on too. So we're very cognizant of all the things that are going on at once. So it will be after the interchange is built, barring a major shift in the timeline for that.
Okay. And then if this grant is approved, when will we find out about that?
My understanding, looking into a question, actually you had the question for me, I believe the award is June of this year, so we have several months. It's a very competitive process at the federal. It's going to compete at the state level and maybe even at the federal level, so it takes time. The wheels of government and grants specifically take a lot of time because there's such a competition.
And based off the diagrams and the documents that you showed me last month, I'm assuming this has been planned without the grant for some time, correct?
It's part of the ongoing 371 corridor that we were working on with the partnership for 18 months. And so it has, these are the concepts, the near-term concepts are included in that. And that process has gone through public involvement. There's still more to do, but open houses and surveys and those types of things. Yep. And so these have been out in the public, and people are aware of them.
Okay, perfect, thank you. That's all I've got.
Thank you. So quickly, Tim, and if I missed it, in your previous presentation, you talked about if it goes through the county asking for the money, there's a greater chance of success in receiving that versus the state, which has a lot of requests in the hopper. Is that's true? Or did I miss? Maybe you presented that already. I don't remember hearing
Yes,
that.
we did talk about that last time, and with these grants, there's a strategy. There's a strategy behind all of these, and also MnDOT, what I learned over the last month or so about this is that this area has been identified by MnDOT as one of the top 3 in the state to apply for this particular grant. And so there are 2, and I believe it's 3rd on the list, number 3. The other 2 are, I'm not sure where they are, but those are also a priority for MnDOT. And we thought as a partnership, the strategy is best for us to be the lead, we have proven that we are able to handle, apply, and follow up with federal grants. And us being in lead, we felt was better for that, rather than MnDOT, a 3rd application, 3rd in line. So now the county's coming up. These the people that evaluate grants and select them really like partnerships. If you can show that everybody in the region is on board, and now not just MnDOT's in the lead, but Crow Wing County is in lead, we feel that that's a better strategy to be competitive for this group.
Very good. Any other questions or concerns for Tim?
I have none.
All right, hearing none, seeing none, I would look for a motion to approve the attached resolution applying for the 2025 federal raise grant.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that resolution authorizing Crow Wing County's application for the 2025 federal raise grant to provide safety improvements on Minnesota 371 corridor from Baxter to Nisswa.
Second.
Coring.
Motion by Commissioner Lubke, second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, say no. That motion passes. That resolution is accepted. Thank you very much for the work on this
Thank you.
project. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
County Sheriff, you're up next.
Good morning. I figured I better come up since I haven't seen you since last year. Well, another good report. I just wanted to share. We just started the beginning of the new year, so we don't have a lot to share with you. But we did. I got to tell you a good story. On New Year's Day, we had a lady that left her residence and had wandered off and got lost in the woods and ended up becoming hypothermic and became delirious and ended up spending the night out there. We got the call the following morning, and there was a whole bunch of us that had gone down there to do a search. We searched 80 acres, and then, as you know, it was very cold out that day. We got everybody back to the command trailer, and they were warming up inside, and we were discussing all the areas that we searched. And there was this one area that I wanted to make sure that we finished up. And I asked them if we could do it, if we could go out and hit this area one more time just before dark. And it was getting dark already, so it did not look very promising that we'd be able to finish that. But these guys, without hesitation, said that they would absolutely go out and finish that one area that we hadn't searched. And lo and behold, we found her and were able to get her the medical attention that she needed and get her flowing out. She's not obviously out of the woods yet. She's going to have some issues, but we were hoping for a good recovery for her. But again, it just goes to show you we have really good people working here for the county, and our volunteers are just excellent. We had the mounted patrol down there, our drone team. I mean, they all volunteer their time, and I just can't say enough about the good work they do. They always, they always make us look good, and that's kind of the little story for you. Feel good story. So I appreciate that. With that, I'll take any questions if you have anything or any concerns or fast
Any
vehicles.
questions? Anybody want to put him on the spot? All right, thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
County Attorney.
I don't have anything for you today other than to welcome Commissioner Lee and congratulate Commissioner Coring on his reelection, and I certainly can take any questions.
Any questions for the attorney? Very good. Thank you, Don. County Administrator, we're back to you.
Back to me again, Mr. Chair. Senior management team report. There was no senior management team meeting yesterday, so there's nothing to report there. The second item I have for you is the award of the 2025 printing and publishing bid. As you all know, my husband is the editor of the Brainerd Dispatch, so I have not been involved in this process. Teresa's handled it. I'm going to go sit in the audience and let her take this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. In your packet is a summary of the printing and publishing bids that were received. It is our recommendation that the combined bid of the Brainerd Dispatch, Pine and Lakes Echo Journal, Crosby Arrington Courier be accepted using the 7.5 point font, and that the Brainerd Dispatch be designated as the official county newspaper for 2025. The Courier and the Newshopper both submitted the same bid for the second publication of the financial statement, and so you will need to make a determination which newspaper you want to give that to.
So can we do this in one motion where we're awarding the...
Yep, it's the resolution on the
First
screen.
Okay.
And it's the final, it's the now therefore be it resolved is the dispatch, the combined bid of the Dispatch Echo Courier. And then the second further resolved is awarding the second publication of the financial statement.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So then we're making, then the only decision, well, I think the decision is either the Crosby Courier or the Newshopper on the financial statement, correct?
On the second publication of
Okay.
the financial statement.
Why don't we just do it in two motions? I would make a motion to award the bid to the Brainerd Dispatch, Pine Lakes Echo Journal, Crosby Arrington Courier for the term of 2025 to be the official paper of Crow Wing County.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, say no. That motion passes.
And then, Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we award being that they're the same price, I would move that we award the Newshopper to be the financial statement in the second publication.
Motion by Commissioner Coring to have the Newshopper get the second printing. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Lee makes a second to that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those not in favor say no. That motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Therese. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item before you is a resolution regarding closed meetings. Mr. Chair and members of the board, every year there are a number of resolutions that we need to pass at this organizational meeting. This is one of those, and it specifies the reasons that we would close meetings. They include cases of labor negotiation strategy, preliminary consideration of allegations against persons employed by the county, evaluations of the performance of persons subject to the authority of the board, and conferences protected by attorney-client privilege. Any member of the board may request to have specific meetings open. Mr. Chair, I put forward for the board's consideration the resolution that's on the screen that would show the meetings that are going to be considered closed meetings.
So I would look for a motion to approve the resolution concerning closed meetings that's attached.
Mr. Chair, I would so move, Coring would move the resolution on closed meetings.
Commissioner Coring makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those not in favor say no. That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item is the resolution regarding the per meeting rates and meeting expenses. Enclosed in your packet is a request for board action to pass a resolution regarding the per-meeting rates and meeting expenses. This is also an annual resolution. The rates are $75 per meeting for all appointed citizens who serve on advisory committees, except for Planning Commission or Board of Adjustment members who receive $150 per meeting and $150 per site visit. This is a motion, or this is a resolution that covers those per diem rates for citizen appointees, not county board members, just for clarification. And if there are no changes, I would put it forward for the board's consideration.
So I would look for a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Commissioner
To
Lupke
approve.
makes the motion to approve the resolution pertaining to the per-meeting rates and meeting expenses. Commissioner
Second.
Coring. Commissioner Coring makes the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those not in favor say no. That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the next item is the 2025 Association of Minnesota Counties Delegate and Policy Committee appointments. Enclosed in your packet is a request for board action to appoint our 8 voting delegates to the Association of Minnesota Counties, along with our AMC Policy Committee appointments. The current appointments to the policy committees are Commissioner Lubke to the Environmental and Natural Resources Policy Committee, Commissioner Barrows to the General Government Policy Committee, Community Services Director to the Health and Human Services Policy Committee, Commissioner Coring to Public Safety Policy,
No.
and Commissioner Franzine to the Transportation Policy Committee. Commissioner Coring has mentioned to me, since Commissioner Lee has over 18 years in public safety experience, that it might be more appropriate for Commissioner Lee to serve on the Public Safety Committee. So I would suggest that you replace Coring with Lee for 2025. Are there any other changes that you would like to see to the policy committees? That is, if Commissioner Lee is okay with that change.
I'm good with that.
So I would suggest that you would change Commissioner Coring to Commissioner Lee for the policy committee. The voting delegates are the 5 commissioners, the county administrator, and then we also have 2 senior managers that we have rotated in previous years who would participate as voting members for AMC as well. Both the Administrative Services Director and the Community Services Director would like to be reappointed for 2025.
Is that a chair appointee, or?
That is a chair appointment.
And I
yes.
will make those appointments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item then is some additional appointments. We have the list of your committee assignments in the packet. And up on the screen, this is the appointments that the commissioners would serve, the different committees you as commissioners will be serving on. If there are no changes to this list, I would ask the chair to make these appointments as well.
There's no additional changes from anyone. The chair makes those appointments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item on your agenda is an appointment to the Crow Wing County Housing and Redevelopment Authority. The HRA appointment is one that's a little bit different than some of the regular appointments. This is an appointment that does need to have an additional board action taken on it. So there is a motion that would be required here. We need to make a motion to the county HRA to have Katie Hepner replace Zach Tabbitt as the District 3 representative for a term expiring 12/31/19.
29.
Excuse me. 29, that's just wrong to say. 12/31/29, and the motion would also include to authorize a certificate of appreciation to be prepared for Mr. Tabbitt.
So I would look for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Franzine makes the motion to appoint Katie Hepner to the HRA. Commissioner Coring seconds that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those not in favor say no. That motion passes. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, the last item I have for you is the citizen committee appointments. There is a list of citizen committee appointments on your screen here. You will see the ones who are looking to need to be reappointed or the appointments that need to be made. This is a request of the chair. These are chair appointments to be made, so I would ask the chair if there are any changes or additions, and then for the chair to please make those appointments.
So the ones that I would be approving are in the column that says notes and have a yes in that column. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, yes, it would be Rebecca Best, Ray Griffin, Sherry Hobbyhorse, Edward Rosenbaum, Scott Bricks, Andy Larson, Shelley Wynn, and then see, we did all of those. I'm still waiting on the sanitary sewer district, Serpent Lake Sanitary Sewer District for Crosby and Deerwood to get back to me. I'm still waiting on Tom Haglund for the Personnel Board of Appeals. And then there's also the Brainerd Lakes Regional Airport Commission.
Okay, and I don't see my appointee, Beth Passy, who's on the Community Health Services Advisory, and she is a yes.
Okay.
And, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner.
I would also like you to reappoint Brad Arnold to the Environment and Natural Resources Committee, and I would also like you to reappoint James Gaida to the Transportation Advisory Committee.
And both are willing to serve?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, Mr. Chair, John O'Shea to the Planning Commission Board. He gave me a yes the other day. I don't have back personally talked to the other two yet.
I will make those appointments.
And then, Mr. Chair, the final thing is the appointment for the Airport Commission. We did advertise for a vacancy on the Airport Commission and received 5 letters of interest by December 31st. The chair has reviewed those, and we are now asking the chair to make an appointment to the airport.
And that is a chair appointment?
That is a chair appointment.
All right, and I have reviewed the 5 applicants, their letters expressing interest. We had some very good ones. I appreciate everybody that did apply. At this time, I'm going to appoint Neil Bratney as the appointee to the Brainerd Crow Wing Airport Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I had for today.
Any additional business?
Mr. Chair, I would just like to say that I appreciate State Representative Ben Davis is in the audience. We are going to, for anybody that's here and wants to listen in to our meeting at 10 o'clock, we're going to talk to our legislative delegation. I know that I talked to Representative Heintzman last night. He's busy with something in St. Paul, so he's going to try to be here via Microsoft Teams. But we're going to talk to our legislative delegation about issues that are concerning Crow Wing County, and if our legislators can help us out with that. So Ben Davis, I want to just say thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And I'll look forward to seeing you at 10 o'clock. And Mr. Chairman, and I believe we decided yesterday that we are going to move down in the administrators' conference room.
Correct.
So that we're not sitting up here looking down at our legislators. We're going to be at the same table, kind of a round table discussion.
All right, if there's no other business, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine. Nobody else wants to go home? Wait a minute, Commissioner Corey?
Well,
Let's get one from this side of the room.
Yeah, well, before we do that, I know that that's a non-debatable motion. Will you withdraw that, or?
Sure.
Yeah. I guess, this is my 4th time. I'd like to say a couple things, but
sure.
Maybe Commissioner Lee, being that he's brand new, maybe you'd like to say something. I don't know. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
That's okay.
Nice job.
Have you got your mic
Yeah,
on?
not on the spot at all,
Amy, have
but
you
that's
got your
just
mic
fine.
on?
Yep, I do. First of all, I just want to thank everybody that's in the county for the warm welcome I've gotten back, and this is kind of a coming back home for me, because my years with the Sheriff's Department and some of these guys in the back, I've grown to love and be with, and it's just good to be back. So I appreciate the support from our community and in putting me in this position, and my goal is just to do the best I can for our community. So
We certainly welcome you.
yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I guess I'd just like to say something. I'd like to thank the constituents that I have down in southern Crow Wing County for sending me back here to a job that I've said this before, I never really sought this job. I sought the Senate job very aggressively, but in 2012, some people talked me into running for county commissioner. I reluctantly decided that I would run. At that time, Phil Trusty, who was county commissioner, who was a very nice gentleman, And I kind of felt bad about beating Phil, because he's such a good guy. And then Doug Kern is sitting in the audience. Doug ran too, and I think it was, help me out, who was the other person?
Monty Jensen.
Monty Jensen ran, and I prevailed. And I will say, after 12 years, I have become, I really love doing this job. It's just, it's an honor. Unless you've ever been elected to any office, you don't realize how, it's a big deal, because the people that voted for you have actually put their trust in you to look out for their best interests. And it's a big honor, and I really, I appreciate it. So anyway, enough. I'm rambling.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
Glad
Mr.
to have you
Chairman.
back.
And
Thank
then,
you
so
for
then with
rambling.
that,
Motion to adjourn.
I will
Commissioner
second
Franzine
that.
makes the motion. Commissioner Coring took it over. I was looking for one from this side to kind of get them engaged.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Commissioner
Paul.
Coring makes the second. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, say no.